Hey, this is Aaron at Power Popaholic, and I am talking to Zach and Kate from the band the Wellingtons. They have a new album out called Baby Moon. Awesome. Awesome. How are you
Guilty.
guys doing today?
Very good. Thank you, sir. How are you?
Good, good. I just wanted to let you know I've been a huge fan of your band since 2008. I think you had
Oh,
an album, In Transit, and then I heard that and I said, "Oh my God, I got to hear the rest of this." And I went back and listened to some of the other albums, and I heard some great stuff. And I said, these guys sound like the inheritors of Jellyfish. They're so good. And I never, wavered. I listened to everything that you guys put out since then. But because this is the first time I'm talking to you, give me a brief history of the band, if you could, and tell me a little bit about how, why you took like the last album. I think you took like a couple years off, and this was
we
like almost a
did.
reunion. So give me
Yeah,
the long story short, if you could. We got time.
sure, sure. We've been a band for, is it 25 years, Kate?
No, just over 20.
20
20 and
years.
a bit.
We've done six albums. We started the band as a three-piece. Kate and I were in a band, a brief band before the Wellingtons. Kate was actually playing keyboards in that band. We put out one EP. The band was called Sarah Sarah. If you want to find it, you can find. And if you like the Wellingtons' work and you want to hear something even more sugary and even more cavity inducing, yeah, check that EP out. And from that band, we split off and decided to do our own thing. And we started out as a three-piece. We had Steph on drums, who she was still in high school. We were in our early 20s, I guess. And yeah, we just kind of wanted to write catchy, infectious pop songs with hopefully memorable melodies. And Kate learned bass to be in the Wellingtons. We needed a bass player. We could, and she'd never sung in a band before. She'd maybe sung a little bit in like school musicals and things like that. And yeah, we gradually kind of expanded the group to become a five-piece. We've been a five-piece now for probably most of our career, really. As I think from the second album, just because we wanted a little bit more. We wanted keyboard. We had a lot of keyboards on the first album, and we just wanted to be able to recreate that live, I guess. And yeah, we've just been chipping away. The sound's probably changed slightly in the sense that we've just matured a little bit and sort of slowed down and hopefully honed the craft of sort of good songwriting. Hopefully, that's kind of the idea of the band.
And I don't think, yeah, we haven't necessarily taken a break from the band over the last few years. It seems like it because of the gap between albums, but it's just been slower. You know, we're not churning them out every second year anymore.
All
Yeah,
right.
this
So
album I put a lot of. Sorry to cut you off there. Yeah, we just a lot of hours and we started a family and we moved house and we got a puppy and life happens and I was sort of chipping away at the record in when our daughter was asleep or certainly did a lot of work early days when she was just a baby when she was sleeping long hours. I was able to do a fair bit of work there, or we were able to do a fair bit of work and yeah, it just took a lot of chipping away and I think the more the further down the line you get with albums, you just get more fussy and more specific, and you want all the guitar tones to be perfect and the tempos to be bang on, the arrangements. So you just get more and more anal about it, I guess.
well, you definitely have a richer sound than you did when you were a lot
Thank you.
younger. There's more layered guitars, more layered vocals, background vocals in there as well. And Kate, you've definitely come into your own over the years as a really good vocalist as well. I enjoyed your songs on this album, Baby Moon, as well. Um, as far as setting the process up, was this album, as far as the songwriting, was it written with your life experience behind you as sort of a backdrop?
Yeah, I guess lyrically, absolutely. Zach often writes the music. That's the first thing that comes, and just placeholder lyrics go in for the most part. And then when it's time to record, that's when we start to work on the lyrics. And so, I guess for the music was written over the course of probably 8 or so years, really. And then the lyrics were sort of put on in the last year, so that all of that sort of life experience that had happened between the last album and now was captured, I suppose, once we got to the lyrical writing for this one. And Yeah, it doesn't take a genius to once you listen to it, you can really hear that. Starting a family. There's a obligatory COVID song in there as well, and getting old, complaining about not being young anymore. All of those things that we do as crotchety old people. So
That's great. Do you guys do each of you have a different favorite song on this album you want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite songs from the record is Kate's least favorite song on the album. So there's that. Often we have different opinions, and the way that we pick the songs for our album is very democratic. All of the band members have an equal say. Even our old drummer, Dave, who's actually no longer with us, got his say on it. Yeah, I think I Won't Turn Away is probably my favorite on the new album. Another song that I also like, Deadbeat Dad, only just made it onto the album. That was another one that I think was like the last one in terms of like the songs selected. They're probably two of my favorites.
yeah, my favorite's Sound Asleep. I like it. It's a change of pace. We don't really have anything really like that in the back catalogue, so I really like the electric organ sound on that too. It sounds awesome. Zach, the I guess I wouldn't say non-keyboard player, but definitely the
Least skilled keyboard player in the band.
wasn't going to say that either, but he did a
True.
very good job of that one. So
Very cool. I also like Kate. I also really liked The Things I Did Before. That's a really cool song as well. Could you tell me a little bit about that song?
yeah, so that's the COVID one. Yeah, that's the going through the here in Melbourne. Well, when we were in Melbourne during COVID, we had lockdown upon lockdown, so we were probably homebound for close to, across the couple of years, close to 9-10 months where we weren't able to go out and do anything. So that was just working through some issues.
Sure. I mean, Zach, tell me a little bit about "She Still Loves Me." That's probably one of my favorite songs on the album. It's almost like I described it in my review, almost like it came off of Jellyfish's Spilt Milk. So tell me a little bit about that one.
Sure, it's very kind of you to say, Aaron. That's one of my favorite albums of all time. So that's a huge compliment. That song I originally wrote. I think my memory's terrible, but I think I wrote that as like an anniversary present to Kate, or a birthday present. I can't remember. And the lyrics were a bit different. In fact, all of the songs on this album, the lyrics have gone through lots of different versions. Particularly the ones that Kate sings. There's demos of me singing the lead vocal with completely different lyrics, probably in a slightly different key. But She Still Loves Me. That was sort of like a bit of a corny kind of happy anniversary. We're not big on presents and things like that, but I think I was just kicking around a song idea that I had in my head, and I think I just quickly rushed this demo out, and it sort of tells the story of how we first met. A lot of it's very autobiographical. Kate came down to see me. I was playing drums in a band that night, and that was the first night we met. And it's a bit corny and stuff like that. But
I love that. The
Yeah.
cornier the better, in my opinion.
You love that schmaltzy stuff. All right, good to know.
Oh yeah, especially when you
We'll keep
guys
it coming.
do it. Especially when you guys do it. I wanted to also ask you, because it seems to me, and this is talking from my side of the pond, that there is an Australian invasion of power pop this year in particular. We have new album by Davey Lane. We have the On and Ons. We have Dom Mariani, from the Stems, all coming out with stuff this year that I've been reviewing this past year, and it's just wonderful stuff. There's no, duds coming out of your country at all, from what I hear. Is this something that you guys planned together, or is this something that it just happened to just timing?
Oh no, we've been scheming this for years. Yeah, since our teenage years.
Oh, awesome.
Everyone wants to struggle for 20 years and then hit their peak, right? Yeah.
The other, and you forgot to mention, I don't know whether you've heard the new Michael Carpenter record. It's brilliant. The
Definitely
new
more country tinged now, isn't he? Yeah.
and
There's
it's
also Benny J. Oh no, I forgot his name. But there's a few other Australian artists that are also coming out with albums as well. You can name a few, and I'll get my listeners to listen to them, because so far, like I said, I liked everything I've heard so far from from Perth, Melbourne, all over the country.
Yeah, we've got a pretty rich history of, and the Ice Cream Hands record. They're one of my
Oh
favorite Australian
yes,
bands.
Ice
That's
Cream
going to
Hands.
come out.
Yes.
We're going to be playing with them later in the year again, which is exciting for their album launch here in Melbourne. So why don't you fly over, check us out, and come to the show? Be great to meet you.
I'd love to. And if you guys ever decide to take a trip to New York, just please look me up. I'll be here and I'll be glad to, book you guys somewhere, wherever you want.
Amazing.
We
Thank
might take you
you.
up on that.
All right. So another question would be, you've been, like you'd mentioned, you really have refined your process down for songwriting for Baby Moon. Do you have a lot of songs sort of left over in the can that you want to use for your next album at this point?
Well, yeah, I guess in about another 10 years, we'll start thinking about another album. We do have, yeah, I was pretty prolific, particularly in my sort of late 20s and 30s. For instance, the In Transit album that you spoke of earlier, we had close to 50 songs to choose from that album.
Wow.
And even the song Sad Today, actually, the original version, the old version of that song with a slightly different chorus was written back then. So we do recycle ideas at various points in time and steal little bits, little bridges and choruses and verses and from different songs over different eras of the band. So we don't throw anything out. And yeah, there is quite a lot of material left that, in fact, the Japanese, if people really want to be completists and buy the Japanese CD, I think there's 6 or 7 outtakes that we didn't use on this record. So yeah, they're certainly around, and there's plenty of ideas that we can draw from when needed, when the time comes.
All right. Well, hopefully we won't have to wait as long for the next album as well. I don't want to wait 10 years. Oh my goodness, please. Your kids will be going to college before I hear another one. I hope not.
They'll be in the band at that point, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I guess so you're supporting you're going on tour locally for some, in support of this album a bit. Let me ask a little bit about both of you individually, your biggest influences. I know we had talked about Jellyfish a few times. What other influences, particularly Australian influences, have you had that affected your music career and influenced it?
Yeah, Australia-wise, they're all yeah, Custard, I suppose, is a really big favorite of ours. The Lucksmiths, although they're much more sort of indie, almost folky pop. They were one of my favorite bands growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's wider than that though. Certainly, the Muffs and Weezer and the Rentals. That kind of. I like the crunchy guitars, but with really nice melodic driven songs. That's where my preference lies.
One of my favorite bands of all time, and certainly my favorite Australian band, is UMI. I don't know whether you just spoke about Davey Lane.
Oh yes. So Davey Lane from UMI, he has his solo album out, and I also know that Mr. Rogers from that band, he's also doing some stuff as well. So they're an institution, I believe, in the country.
They really are. They just got put into the ARIA Hall of Fame, which I guess is like your version of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, out the Australian version. Well deserved. 3 of their albums debuted at #1 consecutively. So they were really big touchstone. In high school, I think I was that right age. I was 16, 17. And all their albums are amazing, particularly those 3 that debuted at #1.
I had to buy Hourly Daily from them twice because I literally wore out my CD. It got to the point where it was scratched up and I couldn't play it anymore. I had to buy it twice.
Yeah, it's an amazing album. Ice Cream Hands, as we mentioned earlier.
Yes.
It's a band, I don't know whether you know a band called Klinger. They're sort of an Australian band that have done quite well here.
Yeah, I want to look them up now because I've heard of a lot of them. I haven't heard of Clea yet.
Yeah, they're a big one. And yeah, that's sort of it for. I'm sure we're missing a bunch, but and yeah, in terms of other international bands that we really love, Jellyfish, obviously, Elvis Costello, Fountains of Wayne are a huge band for us. You can probably hear that in our sound. Adam Schlesinger and Chris Collingwood's songwriting is as good as it gets. Soul Asylum were a massive band for me in high school. Obviously,
Right.
Runaway Train was a massive hit when I was probably 12 or 13. And then I got that album and had to buy all their records all the way back to the old punk stuff that's not really to my taste. But Dave Perner, the lead singer from that band, has an amazing the lyrics he writes, the melodies he writes really have a straight line to my heart and my brain. And They Might Be Giants are another big one for me that aren't really not a lot of, they're not like a classic power pop band, but the melodicism that the Johns have and the quirkiness and the creativeness has been big for me as well.
Well,
There's
that's cool.
thousands, but yeah.
No, that's great. Thanks for mentioning all those. So I wanted to, thank you so much for talking with me about,
Oh, thank you, mate.
Baby Moon and, the history of the Wellingtons and what you guys are up to. And we'll be looking forward to that next album. And in the meantime, I'll tell all my listeners, go check out Baby Moon. It's in my top 10 list for this year. So, please pick it up.
Thank you.
And and please, guys, keep writing, keep recording, don't stop. Remember, if Keith Richards could do it till he's 90, you could do it too.
That's it. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you so much for your support over the years. We really do appreciate it. And yeah, keep spreading the good word, my friend. Thank you.
In New York.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Zach. Take care.
Pleasure. You too. See ya.
Bye bye.